Hey folks, today is Friday, September 12th, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. It's a busy week. Borderlands 4 just released. I am currently playing that, so keep your eyes peeled for a before you buy video. Just some quick first impressions. We didn't get it early or anything like that, but so far so good. Some technical issues aside, it seems like a refreshing new Borderlands actually, but stay tuned for that video. There's a lot of news we should just jump right into. There's first thing involves Cyberpunk 2077 or the Cyberpunk sequel, and a little bit of speculation as to whether or not Johnny Silverhand will be in it. Now, spoiler-free reasons aside why it's a little bit up in the air if he would actually be in the game, the one interesting thing is that we have it direct from Keanu Reeves himself, who basically said, yeah. He did an interview with IGN about a new movie he's in, but he was asked about returning for the sequel, and he said, absolutely, I'd love to play Johnny Silverhand again. Of course, the man is short on words. That's really all we got, but does that mean anything? No, not necessarily. Would we like to see him in the game? I actually am I don't know. I could go either way. I love Keanu Reeves, and I also love Johnny Silverhand, but I feel like he got so much in that game that I would like to see something else in a new game, a decidedly different feel and different flavor. But if he popped up in a cameo or some weird thing, I'd be all right. It's Keanu. Come on. Also, for my young viewers out there, while I have you, Speed is one of the greatest movies ever made. If we're talking Keanu, go watch it. Along with that, CD Projekt Red is still updating Cyberpunk 2077 with little fixes and tweaks. This week, they did release a new patch that little photo mode changes and updates. They also kind of seemingly fixed auto drive and how that works. So yeah, still no actual news on the next Cyberpunk game. We know that it's very early in the works, but yeah, that's where we're at. Next up this week, one of the biggest things is just a huge slate of games announced, both big and small. Quite a bit this week, so I'm going to just rattle off a bunch of games announced, essentially. If you want to check them out, they are linked in the description down below, but we have some interesting stuff. The first is Knights of the Fall. This is a 2D, 3D action platformer with a really, really cool art style. Then Acclaim had an event. Like, Acclaim is back, and they're publishing games. This one is called Ground Zero Hero. This is an action roguelite with survival elements, which sounds like, yeah, okay, but like it's kind of top down, and it's got a kind of cool, cartoony, Nickelodeon 90s style to it that just really resonates with me personally. Also, Sunderbound. This is a top-down shooter with some badass-looking character designs. It looks a little grimdark. It looks a little Warhammer-inspired, but it's cool. I'd say check out the trailer. It's also got some good music. But something that I totally missed earlier this week is an expansion or DLC for Pacific Drive. One of my favorite games that released last year. It's that one that's kind of like a kind of stalker / Half-Life car survival game. This new DLC is called Whispers in the Woods, and I gotta say, the trailer set a horror tone. So if they're leaning more into the horror aspects, I love that, because I actually thought that Pacific Drive was at its best when it was like strange and mysterious and creepy. So for them to go even spookier, I'm in. Also, this new game, Eggspedition. No, it's not Expedition 33. It's this alien egg hunting extraction game. Like, you're scientists, you're getting alien eggs, you're picking them up, and, you know, of course, when has ever like grabbing alien eggs been a good idea? Anyway, cool idea for a game. This next one is HyperYuki Snowboard Syndicate, which, like, awkward title aside, looking at this, it kind of looks to me like a Jet Set Radio style game, but with snowboarding, which is just, yes. Absolutely, I will try that. Star Wars got a small announcement. If you're a MetaQuest user on VR, Star Wars Beyond Victory, it's kind of like a VR play set. You're kind of like looking at models, you're managing pod racing and stuff like that. Interesting. But what really caught my eye this week is War Mechanic. This is a single player game set in a world of alternate history involving like the Manhattan Project, but it's essentially you building and repairing stuff, survival elements, but apparently it's also going to have like NPCs and quests and you fixing up automatons and vehicles. Just kind of a cool vibe here. And it looks like it has some decent combat. Then there's this one called Snatch Squad, which kind of looks like GTA and Payday mixed together. with Minecraft graphics. So there you go, kiddos. But that's not even all, because there was a Nintendo Direct this morning, which had a surprising amount of announcements. A lot of it focused around Mario. The next Mario movie is actually going to be based off of, or loosely based off of, Mario Galaxy. And then with that, for Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary, they did announce, hot on the heels of that, early October, they're dropping a re-release Switch and Switch 2 versions of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, along with a bunch of other things. That Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is awesome, and that is fully priced. So Nintendo being Nintendo, they want you to pay up, sucker. Next up, this video is sponsored by Displate. If you don't know by now, Displate is the best way to make your home, your living room, your office, your workspace, your gaming room just look way cooler. Get rid of those old boring paper posters you might have on your wall and replace them with these. These are real high quality metal posters, and it's a game changer. They have over 2 million Displates available in their catalog, covering all kinds of awesome stuff, unique art, and plenty of gaming stuff. We're talking Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Cyberpunk, The Witcher, Dark Souls. They also offer these cool texture posters that have like 3D textures on them. Me personally, I lean towards movies. I put up movie posters. I've been loving that because these bad boys are so easy to install. This is it. You put a sticker leaf on your wall and then a magnet, and then boom. It takes seconds, so you can go from bare walls to a bunch of cool stuff. Plus, Displate is now offering custom Displates. That's right, you can turn any image into a premium poster. You're able to upload like your own photo, your own artwork, whatever you want. Maybe you want a picture of a family memory or a photo of your pets. It's awesome. It's a brilliant idea. I think it's one of their best things yet. I just got actually the gameranx logo. I thought that looked kind of fresh on white. What do you guys think? So if you want to check these out, click the link in the description down below. Now is an opportunity for some good discounts. You can see them on screen here. 1 Displate, 20% off. 2 to 3 Displates, 27% off. 4 or more Displates, 29% off. So click the link in the description down below or head to displate.com/gameranx. When you're there, use code gameranx to take advantage of these offers. Again, displate.com/gameranx, use code gameranx, and now big thanks to Displate for sponsoring this video. Back to the news. Also, they're bringing back Virtual Boy. I still can't believe this, but like they're getting people with nostalgia, and people are going to buy this. Of course, the Virtual Boy notorious flop. The games are going to be available on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack thing, and they are releasing a peripheral that is kind of like a mock-up of an OG Virtual Boy that you put the Nintendo Switch screen into, and then you play it that way. There's also going to be a cardboard version if you don't want to buy this freaking thing. Either way, a novelty, yes, but kind of cool, kind of quirky. It's nice to see Nintendo not shying away from one of the weirder parts of their history. They also released and had a really good trailer for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. This reimagining, this remake, looks absolutely gorgeous. This is 2026, and be prepared, because if I recall correctly, this was a long-ass game, and probably one of the longer Dragon Quest games. Yoshi's getting a new game, too. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It looks like they're doing something different here. To me, it looks like Nintendo's kind of embracing what they did with Captain Toad Treasure Tracker and the Princess Peach game in terms of giving people alternative ways to play, just like different gameplay concepts, experimenting a little bit. So it's not just Yoshi swallowing and pooping. It's him jumping into books and navigating ecosystems and engaging with like plants and creatures. I don't know. I don't know if it's like my thing, but I do really like the art style and the fact that they're trying something different. There are a lot of things announced, a lot of like ports and re-releases and updates to older games, like an expanded Danganronpa, like a lot of stuff from this direct. But the other last 2 highlights, just for the interest of time, are Fire Emblem, a new Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave here. We got cinematics, we got gameplay. It looks a little bit more over the top than I expected, but some cool character designs. This is coming in 2026. And then last but not least, for me personally, I'm biased. I love Metroid. I'm going to save it for last. Metroid Prime 4 got a new gameplay trailer. Samus riding a motorcycle. It just makes sense, people. Like, I don't know why I never thought of that. I don't know why I haven't seen it before, but now that we do, love it. Riding around in a kind of open environment, very interesting. Hopefully they can keep that Metroidvania feel, but it just looks cool as hell, so I'm in. And we got a release date. It is releasing December 4th of this year. December 4th, for fans of Jay-Z's Black Album. You know what the deal is, but let's move on. A couple of smaller headlines this week that I found interesting. Pete Hines did an interview. He talked about various things. Of course, he was the ex-Bethesda head who is now retired and out. But one of the more interesting quotes was him talking about the big Fallout 76 pre-order debacle and the canvas bag. The Fallout 76 collector's edition, of course, was famous for like being expensive, and then you buy it and you get the cool helmet, right? Like the power armor helmet. But then the bag looked like a canvas bag, and then it was like this shitty plastic bag. It was people made it a crazy thing. People treated it like a war crime, but regardless. But in his interview with Double Tap, his quote was this. He's not usually one to mince words. My first reaction was, when the f did we add a canvas bag to this collector's edition? Because the version I approved did not have one. They were trying to add more value to the collector's edition. We were always fighting with the finance people about the margins, right? I would throw shit fits around. We cannot charge $300 for this. It's insulting. Interestingly enough, he went on saying there was literally a canvas shortage, and some folks decided we're going to do this instead. My biggest failing there was not pushing immediately for making and sending one to everybody that wants one, because I was still annoyed that this damn thing was in there in the first place and nobody had told me, and that this canvas shortage happened. It's probably the dumbest thing I ever did at Bethesda. There you have it, from the horse's mouth. That was a big thing in gaming history if you were online at the time. So interesting to hear one of the higher ups talk about it directly. Of course, hindsight is 2020. He's past it all. He's literally probably sitting on a yacht, but hey, there you have it. Also, in terms of execs and stuff, Ubisoft is doubling down on multiplayer. Specifically with Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot saying that the next Far Cry will emphasize multiplayer. On Far Cry really is to bring the multiplayer aspects more predominantly pushed so that it can also be played for a long time by players. There you have it. We've talked about like a Far Cry, rumors of a Far Cry extraction shooter, stuff like that. Are they going to push co-op elements more? I don't know. Is it live service push stuff? Yes. Do you think I don't know. It's frustrating. I know players are really frustrated with the live service stuff, but all the big players are still gambling for that one big one to take off. And Ubisoft, in a lot of ways, has at least had some successes in various ways. They've had some failures, but then long-term things like people still play For Honor. They still update that. People still play Rainbow Six Siege. They still update that. They're still making money from that. So they're trying to turn Far Cry into that. I don't think that's the right fit. I'm sure most people don't, but they're going to do what they're going to do. Speaking of Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Shadows did also get a big update this week, some expansion, some content, a lot of fixes, a lot of updates. I wasn't the biggest fan of the game, but people are still playing through it, and this is a significant update. So if you want to read up on that, that's also linked in the description down below. But of course, a lot of the conversation this week has been around Hollow Knight Silksong. We put out some kind of like early game tips. We put out the before you buy. I've only just started playing the game. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, it is challenging. What did you expect? The first Hollow Knight was challenging. However, people have legitimate grievances for some of the difficulty issues with this one, and specifically some of the way the backtracking works and how not generous that is, how some of the bosses go. So it's not just a get good thing. There's been some really interesting conversation online about the difficulty here. Again, I'm not too far in the game. I've hit a wall difficulty-wise, but I'm not far enough in the game to make a judgment call. But I will say that Team Cherry has put out a patch that does fix things a little bit. Apparently, the patch tweaked the economy a little bit, like mid-game. It made the early game a little easier, but it also took out a kind of technique that some players were using, so there's some issues with that. I think this is still going to be a little bit of an ongoing thing, but it's good to see that Team Cherry is listening, but just tweaking. I don't think they're going to wholesale make the game extremely easier or anything like that. They're still probably going to stick to their vision, but they're open to feedback with some of the things clearly from the updates we've gotten so far. So if you want to read up on the actual changes, it's linked in the description down below. Still a really good game in like a last couple of weeks. A lot of really good, interesting releases. I'd say at least something for every type of player. So with that, I do want to say in the pinned comment below, it'll be a sponsored comment, but reply to that comment thread. Let us knowing what you're currently playing, because we do top 10s and stuff. We want to know what you guys are playing for research and stuff like that. But also, just let me know what you think about the news. I rattled off a lot of new game announcements this week. So let me know if any of them caught your eye, and Nintendo Direct specifically. I couldn't go into all of them, but again, was there something in there that was for you? Not a lot for me, but again, Metroid Prime, Samus with a motorcycle. Okay, cool. And of course, at the top, we talked a little bit about Johnny Silverhand coming back to Cyberpunk. Obviously, there's a lot to that, depending on the ending and everything, but like, let me know how you feel about that. Would you love to see him back just because Keanu, or for good, legitimate Cyberpunk story reasons? I don't know. Let's talk. Thanks for getting caught up on the news. You know, I'm here every Friday giving you all the news wrapped up pretty quick. You can also check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino. I do a little bit of news every Wednesday there and game reviews and whatever. But thank you. You can find me on social media, all the places, Jake Baldino. The comments get a little crazy, so of course, try and yell at me on social media if you want. But either way, clicking the like button, it helps us. Thank you. All I ask now, after all that, is just have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me.